Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk, and thanks for watching. Straight to the docket. First, Chad Daybell goes to court, gets new charges. Second, is Lori Vallow's attorney ethically challenged? Third, a former movie mogul comes up with a civil settlement. And finally, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch of Crime Talk, and thanks for watching. Before we get to the docket, as always, if you haven't already done so, hit that little subscribe button, hit that bell so that you receive notifications of when we go live or put out new content, and as always, leave us a comment below about what we discussed today. First on the docket, Chad Daybell goes to court and gets new charges. As you may recall, and you can watch the video yesterday, Lori Vallow went to court. She has a new case in addition to her case regarding the desertion, where she received conspiracy charges regarding the destruction, delay, hindrance of finding evidence. As we discussed in yesterday's video, Lori Vallow went to court yesterday and received new charges, a new case actually, regarding the destruction, alteration, and concealment of evidence. In fact, she has 2 counts of conspiracy related to that, and it alleges in the conspiracy that she and Chad Daybell and an unindicted co-conspirator, i.e. Alex Cox, conspired to hide the remains of her children, JJ and Ty Lee. Today was Chad Daybell's day to go to court, and there's an amended criminal complaint. In that amended criminal complaint, which is not uncommon, the district attorney can amend charges literally almost up to the day of trial, or even amend them for small matters up until the matter goes to a jury trial. So it's not surprising that's in fact what took place. So now count 1 for Chad Daybell is destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, carries up to 5 years in prison. Count 2 is conspiracy to commit destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. And counts 1 and 2 are in regards to JJ Vallow. Counts 3 and 4 allege destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence, as well as conspiracy regarding the destruction, alteration, or concealment of evidence. And those 2 counts are relating to the disappearance of Ty Lee Ryan. The affidavit for the arrest warrant is almost identical to the affidavit that was filed in the case for Lori Vallow. The one item that did jump out at me, as it did yesterday, but I don't think we really discussed it, was paragraph 58 of the affidavit. And it states that the detective observed the autopsy of the human remains described in paragraph 51 through 55, and stated that it was not possible to identify those remains by simply looking at them, as they were too damaged by fire and dismemberment and no longer had any recognizable features. That's why they were able to identify Ty Lee Ryan in regards to medical records, specifically matching an irregular jawline with x-rays of Ty Lee when she was alive. So obviously somebody took great pain and effort to make sure that these remains were destroyed. Clearly, somebody planned this out. Clearly, they made arrangements to have these bodies placed on Chad Daybell's property. Now, all of these counts each carry 5 years in prison and a $10,000 fine. In reality, if they went to trial, the conspiracy as it relates for Chad Daybell, along with the substantive count in and of itself, they would merge. So it'd be unlikely that he would receive anything more than 10 years in prison if he was convicted and he were to receive consecutive sentences that are served one after the other. Now, obviously, he has only been charged. He has not been convicted or pled guilty, and therefore we give everyone the presumption of innocence that we talk about here on Crime Talk. Now, one thing I want to talk about, we're going to take a quick recess, all right? Now, we have a sponsor, and it is a background subscription for you all. And I'm telling you, you don't know who you're dealing with in this world necessarily. Think of all the cases we have talked about on Crime Talk where somebody meets somebody, they don't turn out who they think they actually are, and something bad happens to them. Well, those types of things can oftentimes be prevented if you just did a little checking. If you go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for a subscription to this background service. It is a reasonable fee. You can search as many times as you want. You can search anonymously, which means no one is going to know that you are doing a background check on them. And when you get that report, it's going to have people's emails, social media, court records relating to criminal background checks, civil cases that have been filed, property records, bankruptcies. Those are the type of things that you want to know about someone, particularly if you're going to get involved in a relationship with them. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for the subscription. You will be satisfied. And if you're not, you can cancel at any time. Go sign up today. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. You'll be glad you did. Next on the docket, as you may recall yesterday, we were talking about the court appearance for Lori Vallow. And in that first advisement of these new charges for Lori Vallow, at the end of it, the court asked Lori Vallow's attorney, Mr. Means, have you now or have you ever represented any of the co-defendants in this particular case? And Mr. Means said no. My jaw just about dropped when I heard that. And the district attorney chimed in as well and said, oh, no, Your Honor, that's not correct. He said at a previous hearing that he represented Chad Daybell along with Lori Vallow. So we, wanting to bring the facts to you, want to let you decide. So, first video.
The amount of resources that can be saved in order to allow that to happen, and given that I represent her husband, Chad Daybell, in the event that there's an issue there.
And now, the second video from yesterday.
Mr. Means, have you ever represented any of the alleged co-conspirators that are set forth in the criminal complaint?
No, Your Honor, other than Mrs. Daybell.
You've taken a look at it. What do you think? Ethically challenged? Perhaps just didn't remember who his client may be? Leave me a comment below. Next on the docket, a former movie mogul and his company reach a settlement in the state of New York. Now, you probably know who we're talking about when we talk about former movie moguls. Don't you? Of course you do. But we can't say his name. Why? That's right. YouTube will demonetize us. So we'll just refer to him as the convicted former movie mogul. All right? The Attorney General in the state of New York has settled a claim against former movie mogul's ex-company he's no longer with. It's about $18 million for the victims of sexual assaults as well as harassment in the workplace. These proceedings still need to be approved by the bankruptcy court because you have to remember, former movie mogul's company filed for bankruptcy. But like all things in life, particularly when it comes to money, not everybody is happy. A couple of the attorneys for the victims of former movie mogul basically have said that the district attorney or said that the attorney general should not be taking a victory lap because the $18 million is completely insufficient to satisfy all of the claims of former movie mogul's victims. The mere fact that former movie mogul has been sentenced to prison and that there's actually money for somebody to recover, which is usually very unusual when somebody commits crimes like former movie mogul. There's no money for anybody to ever collect upon. So 18 million may not satisfy everybody, but it is at least a start. Next on the docket, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. And I don't know if you've noticed, but a lot of our dumb criminal contestants, their problems revolve around food. Now, I've always said it's sex, drugs, and alcohol. We may have to add food that creates a lot of problems for people, whereupon they find themselves in the criminal justice system. Well, today's contestant is Michael Brown, and he was arrested on multiple felony charges following a little confrontation Monday afternoon at Pie 5 restaurant. Now, Pie 5 restaurant makes pizzas. That's how they make their dough, all right? And apparently, Mr. Brown was rather upset and thought that perhaps he did not receive a sufficient topping on his pizza. Now, it's unclear exactly which topping he didn't receive. Was it like Italian sausage? Was it pepperoni? Maybe he's a pineapple guy. I don't know. They don't say. But apparently, he was upset. So what does he do? He asks to speak to the manager. The manager tries to resolve the situation. Unfortunately, Mr. Brown, not satisfied, goes outside to his work van, retrieves a firearm, tries to get back in the store, but fortunately the employees at Pie 5 had enough sense to lock the door. So Mr. Brown, obviously still upset and hungry, I guess he's hangry, is that it? He fires multiple shots into the front door at Pie 5. Mr. Brown is apprehended by police a short time later after he drove away in his work van, whereupon he made a full confession. So, Mr. Brown, you are a dumb criminal contestant of the day. It's not just because you fired a firearm into a crowded building where innocent people could have been killed. No. It's not that stupid act, Mr. Brown. It's the fact that you were that upset by the toppings on your pizza that you thought you had to go shoot multiple rounds into the front door of Pie 5. Mr. Brown, congratulations. You are our dumb criminal contestant of the day. And if you are selected as the dumb criminal contestant of the week, Mr. Brown, you have an opportunity to receive, at no expense to you, a Crime Talk mug. And Mr. Brown, if you win, I will personally stuff this mug full of whatever topping you thought you had been cheated on or shorted on in your pizza order. Thanks for watching, everyone. We want to thank everyone who watched us as we went live last night, as well as all of our Patreon members. I think we had a very good conversation during our Patreon group. I want to thank all of our Patreon members for supporting Crime Talk. That's all we have for today. Have a great day. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Crime Talk.